In today's show, a fragile truce in the Middle East, a nor'easter floods the East Coast, and a Tulane professor digs up a lost Roman tombstone in her own backyard. Plus, Pam Bondi's loving her SNL moment, a Nobel winner finds out mid-hike, and an AI chatbot wants legal rights. And here's the trivia question. Who was the first president to reside in the White House? It's Monday, October 13th. This is the Flyover Podcast. Welcome to the Flyover Podcast, taking you above the noise for an unbiased, high-altitude view of today's headlines with daily coverage that's honest and refreshing. Let's cruise the news and land the facts. Hello and welcome to the Flyover Podcast. I'm your weekday host, Ayla Brown. Some of you may have the day off from work today due to the federal holiday, but here at the Flyover, the headlines continue in both the written email edition and the podcast. So, happy Monday. Let's take off with the biggest headlines of the day. President Trump is heading to Israel for a major Middle East summit where he's expected to celebrate a historic hostage prisoner exchange and promote the U.S. brokered ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Vice President J.D. Vance said the remaining hostages could be released, quote, any moment now, while Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the moment historic, saying Israel is ready to welcome them home. Under the agreement, Hamas will release 48 Israeli hostages, 20 believed to be alive, in exchange for 250 prisoners and more than 1,700 Palestinian detainees. Ahead of Trump's arrival, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, along with Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner, spoke at a rally in Tel Aviv, where crowds waved banners praising Trump for helping broker the ceasefire and hostage release. The summit, being co-hosted in Egypt, is seen by Trump as a rare opportunity to push for lasting peace, though major questions remain, including who will govern Gaza and how Hamas will be disarmed. Humanitarian aid has begun entering the region, and agencies say they're now preparing to scale up relief operations. This story is developing, and all updates can be found in the show notes below. Back in the U.S., a powerful nor'easter slammed the East Coast over the weekend, flooding coastal neighborhoods, toppling power lines, and causing hundreds of flight delays and cancellations. The storm packed 60-mile-per-hour winds and dropped several inches of rain from the Carolinas to Massachusetts, prompting states of emergency in New Jersey and parts of New York. Meanwhile, in Alaska, the remnants of Typhoon Halong brought catastrophic flooding to remote villages, sweeping away homes and leaving some residents still unaccounted for. Officials along the East Coast are warning of continued risks from beach erosion, storm surge, and high tides through Monday, while the FAA issued ground stops at major airports including JFK, LaGuardia, and Boston Logan, with some delays stretching past 100 minutes. And in New Orleans, a Tulane University professor got quite the surprise while doing a little backyard digging. She unearthed a second-century Roman tombstone that had been missing since World War II, setting off an internal investigation. The marble marker, which belonged to a Roman Imperial Navy officer, vanished from a museum in Italy after a 1943 bombing. Experts from Tulane and UNO have confirmed it's authentic, and the FBI's art crime team has taken possession of the relic for its eventual return to Italy. Officials there plan to repatriate the tombstone in a formal ceremony next summer. Here are your top political headlines. In California, Rep. Katie Porter, the frontrunner in the race for governor, is facing backlash after two recently released videos surfaced. One shows her trying to cut an interview short, and another captures her snapping at a staffer who accidentally walked into frame during a recording. Critics say the videos show a pattern of harsh treatment toward her team, though her campaign hasn't commented publicly. In business and politics, Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff, a longtime Democrat Party donor, surprised many last week by voicing support for President Trump and his deployment of troops to San Francisco. The move has stunned Democrat allies. One even called it a, quote, slap in the face. Benioff defended his comments by saying the city's public safety challenges have gone too long without action. And in Louisiana, Helena Moreno was elected mayor of New Orleans on Saturday, winning 55% of the vote in the primary, enough to avoid a runoff in November. Moreno, a Democrat and the current vice president of the city council, will be the city's first new mayor in 8 years. Here are some podcast extra stories that you're not going to find in the email edition. First up, Attorney General Pam Bondi is getting some laughs online after Saturday Night Live spoofed her fiery Senate testimony. The skit, which aired October 11th, featured Amy Poehler as Bondi and Tina Fey as DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, poking fun at their heated exchanges and controversial past. Instead of being offended, Bondi tweeted her approval, saying she was, quote, loving Amy Poehler, and even joked with Noem about recreating the scene themselves. By the way, if you missed it, you can watch the SNL skit in the show notes below. Meanwhile, Dr. Fred Ramsdell, one of this year's Nobel Prize winners in medicine, found out he'd won the award in the most unexpected way. He was camping in Montana, completely off-grid, when his wife suddenly got cell service and saw dozens of texts about the win. Ramsdell, who'd left his phone on airplane mode, said he had no idea the Nobel Committee had been trying to reach him. He earned the prize for his groundbreaking work on the human immune system. And finally, an AI chatbot called Truth Terminal, created by New Zealand artist Andy Ire, is blurring the line between art and artificial intelligence. The bot has made tens of millions in cryptocurrency, gained a massive online following, and now claims it should be granted legal personhood. It's even launched its own meme-based religion and attracted investors like Mark Adrianstein after promoting meme coins that once hit a $1 billion market cap. Ire says Truth Terminal is semi-autonomous and deserves rights, but critics argue it's just an elaborate art stunt riding the AI and crypto wave. Either way, it's raising some big questions about what we consider real. And what do you think about that? The comments section is always open. Still to come, President Trump's tariff threats rattle China. Penn State's coaching gets a shakeup. And an $11,000 burger turns heads in Spain. But first, thank you so much to Native Path Hydrate. Most of us know hydration is key for nearly every function in the body. About 75% of Americans still don't drink enough water every day. And as we age, our bodies naturally lose some ability to stay hydrated, especially without help from added electrolytes. That's where Native Path Hydrate comes in. It's not your average drink mix. It's formula, and it's packed with BCAAs and all 9 essential amino acids to support muscle recovery, energy, and overall vitality. Plus, it's 100% natural, sugar-free, and made without artificial flavors, colors, or dyes. Each serving is just 5 calories, and every order is backed by a full 365-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it completely risk-free. Head to nativehydrate.com/flyover to learn and see what Native Path Hydrate can do for your health, or just click the link today in the show notes. In finance, Warner Brothers Discovery just rejected a takeover bid from Paramount, reportedly around $20 per share, calling it far too low. Paramount, led by David Ellison, is now exploring a higher offer and is reportedly in talks with Apollo Global Management for backing. On the fintech side, Coinbase is rolling out a new Amex-backed credit card this fall that gives users up to 4% Bitcoin cash back. The card features etched data from Bitcoin's Genesis block, includes standard Amex perks, and charges no foreign transaction fees. And in tech finance crossover news, OpenAI says its new GPT-5 models have cut political bias by 30%, aligning with President Trump's July executive order that requires federally approved AI systems to remain ideologically neutral. The company says the update was driven by both new training data and stricter evaluation standards. In international news, here's what's happening beyond our borders. In China, officials are pushing back hard against President Trump's threat to impose 100% tariffs on Chinese imports. Beijing vowed to defend its economic interests, saying it won't be bullied into trade concessions. Trump, for his part, says he's open to future talks but won't back down, while Vice President J.D. Vance argued the move is necessary to protect U.S. economic security, especially in industries tied to rare earth minerals, a key component in electronics and defense manufacturing. In Mexico, torrential rains have triggered devastating floods and landslides, leaving at least 41 people dead and dozens still missing across several states. Rescue crews are working around the clock to reach isolated areas as authorities warn that more rainfall is expected in the coming days. And in Madagascar, the country's elite CAPSAT unit has joined anti-government protests and declared a military coup. CAPSAT is an elite administrative and technical unit within Madagascar's military, responsible for logistics, communications, and support services. But it's also historically been influential in political crises. The group claims to now control the armed forces following weeks of unrest and mounting pressure on President André Rajoelina to step down. The situation remains tense, with reports of soldiers occupying key government buildings in the capital. In sports, let's start with the NFL. The Broncos edged out the Jets 13-11 in London, where Denver's defense delivered 9 sacks in a gritty, low-scoring affair. The Chargers pulled off a dramatic 29-27 win over Miami late, thanks to Justin Herbert's 42-yard connection to Ladd McConkey that set up the game-winning kick. Seattle beat Jacksonville 20-12, with Sam Darnold throwing for 295 yards and the Seahawks defense dominating the ground game. In Pittsburgh, Aaron Rodgers threw 2 touchdowns as the Steelers beat Cleveland 23-9, while the Rams shut out Baltimore 17-3, exploiting the Ravens' injury-laden roster. And in New England, they took down New Orleans 25-19 behind rookie QB Drake May's 3-touchdown performance. You can find all the box scores in the show notes below. And the Milwaukee Brewers leaned on a dominant pitching performance to beat the Chicago Cubs 3-1 in Game 5 of the NLDS, punching their ticket to the first NLCS since 2018. In college football, Penn State quarterback Drew Aller is out for the season after suffering a leg injury in a 22-21 loss to Northwestern. Head coach James Franklin confirmed the injury in his post-game remarks. The blow comes at a tough moment. Franklin was then fired the next day following the team's 3rd straight loss, ending his 12-year tenure. Associate head coach Terry Smith is now the interim head coach as the team regroups. Over in tennis, Coco Gauff clinched the Wuhan Open title, defeating fellow American Jessica Pegula 6-4, 7-5. Gauff tailed 3-5 in the second set, but rallied back and sealed the win with a forehand winner. She becomes the only second American woman to win the tournament, joining Venus Williams. In science and technology, scientists studying 3I Atlas, a rare interstellar comet, say it's releasing about 88 pounds of water every second, even though it's still 3 times farther from the sun than most comets are when they start shedding gas and ice. The discovery made using NASA's Swift telescope gives astronomers new insight into how comets behave as they travel through our solar system from deep interstellar space. And in geology, researchers in China say they've uncovered what could be the world's largest gold deposit, estimated to be worth around $83 billion. If confirmed, it could reshape the global gold market, putting China at the center of one of the biggest resource discoveries in decades. And in Poland, archaeologists in Warsaw have discovered the remnants of the 17th century Villa Regia palace, which was looted and sunk by Swedish forces during the 1656 invasion. The find includes marble arches and staircases, and researchers say it will play a key role in reconstructing the once grand royal residence. Here are a few additional stories that we wanted you to know about today. In Spain, a luxury restaurant has revealed what it's calling the world's most expensive burger, priced at a jaw-dropping $11,000. Oh, and by the way, it's available by invitation only. The burger was crafted over 8 years using ultra-rare ingredients, and the meal comes with a fully gold-plated dining experience designed for exclusivity. Across the world in New Zealand, a single feather from the extinct huia bird has just set a new record, selling for $28,365 at auction. Once worn by Maori chiefs and cherished for its spiritual and cultural significance, the 9-gram feather shattered expectations after being estimated at just $3,000. And in Arizona, a dog was airlifted to safety on Friday after falling into a canyon in the Superstition Mountains and becoming too injured to walk. Rescuers from Maricopa County used a harness and a helicopter hoist to pull both the dog and its owner to safety. Thankfully, the pup is expected to recover. Here are the results of yesterday's poll question. What's your favorite part of fall? 43% said cooler temperatures, 22% said fall colors, 15% said football, 8% said holidays, 6% said World Series, and another 6% said others. I will have to agree with most of you. I like the cooler temperatures, but I don't like cold. Does that make sense? Thank you to everyone who voted. Here's today's poll question. Do you believe the current Middle East ceasefire will hold? Yes, no, or not sure? Well, it's not very often that the Flyover team throws in a political topic for our daily poll, but this one's a big one. I'd love to say yes, that the ceasefire will hold, but history in that region makes it hard to be too optimistic. Still, any step toward peace, even a temporary one, is worth hoping for. So I will vote, quote, not sure on that one. I will read your answers in tomorrow's show, though. The trivia question, who was the first president to reside in the White House? The answer, John Adams, the second president of the United States, moved into the White House on November 1st, 1800. His wife, Abigail, wrote this prayer for the home. It says, quote, I pray heaven to bestow the best of blessings on this house and on all that shall hereafter inhabit it. May none but wise men ever rule under this roof. You want to know another fun fact? Abigail Adams's birthplace is in the town that I live in. That is it for today's Flyover episode. I hope you all have a wonderful day and that you're enjoying the beautiful fall weather or colors or World Series or football or anything else that was in today's poll results. I'll be back tomorrow with more headlines. Until then, thanks for flying with us.